Hey guys, so let's talk endocrine disruptors. I know that sounds like a weird, big, scary concept, but it really isn't. It just means that chemicals that mimic our own hormones that can interfere with how our hormones work. So in this video, I'm going to talk about endocrine disruptors. I'm going to talk about mainly plastics to avoid, how to avoid them, and the 5 main things that you want to avoid and get out of your kitchen so you are not ingesting endocrine disruptors. And that is just kind of a fancy word for chemicals that interfere with your hormonal function. And ladies, that means your reproductive system. And whether you're a young person in your childbearing years or you're in perimenopause or menopause, you definitely want to avoid accumulating a bunch of endocrine disruptors because, as the name states, it interrupts and disrupts the function of your endocrine system, which is your hormonal system, which really kind of controls how your entire body works, how you're sleeping, how your metabolism is working. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about everything that you do, the way you exercise, the way that you gain or don't gain weight. That has to do with your hormones, right, ladies? So anybody who has an autoimmune condition, and that's who I mostly talk to, that's who most of my clients are women with autoimmune condition that are trying to reverse your symptoms. One of the categories that we talk about and that I work with clients on is how to clean up your kitchen from endocrine disruptors. So that's what we're going to talk about today, the 5 main things that you can do just on a checklist to get out of your kitchen, to stop using, how to do that and limit or mitigate the exposure that you have to these hormone disruptors, if that's kind of a better way to communicate it. Less fancy way of saying endocrine disruptor. Your endocrine system is just your hormonal system, basically. I'm going to talk in real simple terms on this video. So let's dive into what it means simply if you have an endocrine disruption. It just means that it interrupts the way that your metabolism works. It interrupts the way that your reproductive system works. So if you're trying to get pregnant, you're in childbearing years, or you're in that perimenopause, menopausal stage of life, you don't want to be interrupting anything more than it's already interrupted, right? So we want to get those things out of our kitchen. The very first thing that you want to get rid of, and I did this years ago I do sort of a New Year's resolution, right? But you don't have to do New Year's resolution to do that, but it's a big undertaking and you're deciding to take something on. So often people do this at New Year's. You don't have to do it at New Year's. You can just do this. Stop using plastic baggies. That means stop buying them. The Ziploc, the big ones, the small ones, the snack ones, the sandwich ones, even the saran wrap, the plastic wrap that we use, even if it says biodegradable, we want to stop using that and having plastic touch our food. So plastic and heat and food do not go together. You can chat GPT this. Plastic will leach into your food. Okay, so even if you're not using it to heat your food and it's not touching your food while it's heating, even using any type of plastic, this is a good way to start, removing plastics. We are not going to be able to get rid of plastics entirely in our lives. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 things to do that you can mitigate your exposure to plastic. Because if you go on the market, you will see that plastic is everywhere. It's wrapped in food. It's wrapped on organic fruit, which makes no sense to me. So you're not going to be able to get rid of it entirely. And yes, in reality, if your food's never heated, like if you see an apple wrapped in plastic, it's not necessarily leaching into your food, but we don't know that. Human studies have not been done, but they have been doing studies on animals and the marine animals, and they're certainly not heating their food in the microwave, guys. And the marine animals, they have found in their tissue and in their organs microplastics. That's well researched. So we can only jump to the conclusion. We don't want to take any chances with our hormonal system, ladies. So the only way to mitigate the plastics is just in your own home is to not purchase any longer the plastic baggies. You are going to have to replace your food storage system in your home with glass. Now, glass, I know it's more expensive, but think about the amount that you're buying of plastic baggies every week and throwing them out, right? Glass is a lot easier. I know it's not as convenient sometimes when you travel to do that, but I buy, a cooler container, a small one, and I will bring, plastic jars and then just throw them away and recycle them when I get to my destination, or keep it for the duration of the trip, depending on how you're traveling, and you can just carry it around with you. I know it's not as convenient as plastic baggies, but it is really important for your health to do that. Okay, so second thing that you want to remove from your life is, I know this is a big one, guys. I'm just going to start right off the bat with the big one, is the coffee maker with the little pods. I know how convenient that is, but you are combining heat and plastic and a beverage every single day. So this is a pretty big one. I don't have any suggestions. I'll tell you what we did, but I don't have any suggestions on how to make that convenient. I know everything about 2025 is convenience, but I'm going to push back on that a little bit. So back in the day, we made coffee in metal containers. I actually bought, and I don't know what brand it is, old school coffee maker. It kind of resembles those big coffee pots that are all metal, by the way. It's all metal, but it's a mini version of that. So it's a mini coffee maker, has a little percolator thing at the top. And we love it. And it makes a big pot of coffee. Yes, it takes a little bit longer. You got to grind it. It doesn't grind on its own. And you do have to have a little metal thing in there, but it's all metal. And that's the way that for centuries we have made coffee without plastic. So that is the number 2 thing you're going to do. Number 3 is another big one, is not that hard though, is just to dump all of your plastic cutting boards. So plastic cutting boards, you are cutting a sharp knife with food and the microplastics are just leaching right in there. If you see your cut marks on your plastic, where's the plastic going? You're ingesting microplastics. So you want to get rid of that for sure and replace it with metal, or I just use wood. And I know that there is the lore out there on Instagram or wherever in social media about bacteria in the wood. Clean it, use vinegar, use a little bit of bleach and water. You can clean the bacteria off of that. And you're just going to replace the wood as it gets, ugly. But I've had my wood cutting boards for a long time. So do that. That's number 3. Number 4 is the Brita. I'm going to just call that out by name. No plastic and water. So that gets me to the larger concept of the plastic and the water. So if you're using plastic water bottles that have been shipped all over the country, all over the world in plastic bottles, are definitely getting heated. So we don't want any heat and beverages. So I also say just get rid of your plastic Brita and use water bottles, glass or metal. I drink water. I don't have it here in front of me, but I drink water out of glass mason jars all the time. I take them with me all the time. They're not expensive. I know glass is a little bit heavier than plastic and some of those other water bottles, but you don't want to be drinking out of plastic. Okay, so last category, number 5, is not really plastics, but it is chemicals and endocrine disruptors. It's the Teflon pans, the ones that are the non-stick. Anything non-stick has chemicals in it, ladies. And just go back to stainless steel, not aluminum, but stainless steel. I know it's harder, but go on YouTube, another YouTube, and find out how to cook so that you're not, there's a whole way, a method to do it so that it's nonstick. Aluminum can absolutely be nonstick. Is it as convenient? Is it as slippery as Teflon? No. But your health is more important than convenience. So I know some of these things that I talked about are not as convenient as some of the other things, but some of these things that they have come up with are just not good for our health. And we're all trying to get healthy in 2025 for sure. So if you like this video and you're still here, please click the like button for me and subscribe. I come out with new videos every week about how to improve your health. If you are wanting to detox further, like you've gotten all these things out and you want to also detox from sugar, and you're still watching, you're still interested, I've got a really cool tool for you. It is a free, and here's the little graphic, 7-day sugar detox. I give you a whole guide, as you can see here, and it will walk you through step by step how to detox from sugar as well. And I usually talk here to my ladies who have autoimmune condition and one of the most important things you're going to do is get out of the endocrine disruptors. There's many things to do. There's many stages to healing from autoimmune condition. But one of the things you're going to do is what I talked about today, which is to get rid of as much as you can the endocrine disruptors that are in your life. Also, unfortunately, not an easy one to do is sugar, getting sugar out of your life, because that is creating more inflammation than necessary. And the more you bring down your inflammation, the more you can heal from autoimmune conditions. So if you want a 7-day sugar detox, click the link below. I'm going to put it there for you. And you can dive into step by step. I walk you through the whole thing with videos every day about what to take out day by day. And it's a really cool tool to use to detox from sugar. It takes time, but I walk you through what to expect and what and how to replace sugar and all that good stuff. Okay, see you later, guys. Bye.